course, Discord does not like you. Good evening, folks.
Of course it did.
Oh, now it does. OBS and Discord, we gotta love them.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, enough of our technical shenanigans. Good evening, folks. Welcome to episode 2 of Chronicles, where I give background on my overly complex D&D world. I've got Grindal here joining me again for this week. Who knows what we'll have?
Oh.
Welcome aboard. He's
only
here to
20% grumpy today.
Only 20%.
Only 20% because I'm out of character.
Yeah. Hey, Fizzy, and thank you, Woden, for your services. And hello to everybody else that's joined us. Wow, we have five viewers already. Here we go.
All right, good. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So last week we just kind of give an overview of the Vale, kind of an overview of the world, and my background in gaming. And this week I actually have notes, people. I made show notes, and anyone that knows me knows exactly how scary that is. Because that means I'm actually paying attention and doing something. Oh my god. Now, did I make these 30 minutes before we started the show? Yes. But they are show notes.
Hey. 30 minutes, 30 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plan. That's what's happening.
Yeah. And it looks like OBS does not like Discord tonight. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. We'll roll. We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it.
Easy, my blue mug. They'll get it. They'll get to see plenty of it later, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I was thinking tonight, and steer me away if I'm wrong on this, please, Grindal. I was thinking doing a little bit of overview of the races of the realm.
Sure.
Maybe touching on the guilds. And then going into, if we have time, we are on a time limit, then going into the first campaign.
Sure. I think we got a good start there.
I mean, I don't run a normal world, but what DM does, really? Unless you're running a canned world, what DM runs a normal world? And as I said last week, this one's been in my head forever.
Hey, well, why don't we get to it then?
Yep. Well, before we really get rolling, there are a few people I must acknowledge. Tabletop Audio is responsible for the music in the background. They are a license-free music, and they are free to use. Go look them up at tabletopaudio.com. We have Fantasy Grounds. I am a Fantasy Grounds affiliate. If you like the program we play D&D on, that is Fantasy Grounds. I think it's Fantasy Grounds Unlimited. And click the link, give them a look. It is an absolutely wonderful piece of software. I absolutely love running it. The banners. Fantasy Grounds Unity, thank you. Those that have watched me would watch the brain go ka-chunk, grind, yes. Fantasy Grounds Unity.
Yes.
Absolutely love the software. I've been using it for 3 years now. Absolutely love it.
Good people behind it, too.
The people
with excellent minds for everything.
Yeah, they are absolutely phenomenal people. The banners and the artwork you see is thanks to Vector Moon Graphics. They do some wonderful job for the artwork. And I think that covers about everybody, unless there's somebody I've forgotten.
I think that covers everybody that we're covering at this time.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll get more along the way.
Oh, I'm sure eventually.
And if we do, we will give them the proper shout out.
Yes. Yeah, we will give proper shout outs. Well, the map that I've got shown on the screen right now, that is done with using Campaign Cartographer, but that was back Campaign Cartographer 2, I believe.
Oh, here next few months or so, we might have something else up there to replace it. At least, a work in progress that we look good enough.
Possibly.
That we can work with.
Possibly.
Yeah.
This is a rough draft.
We got a good start here.
Yeah, this map's old. This map's 30 years
old,
so it is a work.
Yeah, but at least it gives people right now an idea of where we're going to, and hey, where we might improve on things, or or expand upon things there too.
The real ironic thing is, by the end of this story arc, you guys aren't going to be up here anymore.
Hey,
but, that's a spoiler.
Yeah. Well, we never said that we were going to stop at the Vale.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. So let's
The Vale is the beginning.
Vale is the beginning. Vale is the beginning.
Yes.
Vale is the end.
Yes.
Magic is the key to life, but death holds the lock. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. That's a pure tease, I know.
Hey.
By the way, listeners, is the music too loud or is it about right? It is. I wait for a moment here.
I don't think it's too bad on mine here, but
yeah, no complaints. So we're gonna roll on.
Okay. All right.
Maybe a tad too loud. Not bad though, just a little bit. Okay. Let's address that really quick. Just because I don't want to fight music.
Yeah, we don't want it to overwhelm, but we do want to have a little something to help work us through.
There we go. All right.
There we go. All right.
Oh, where to start with races? Oof.
Yeah. So, yeah, and what makes our take on races here unique? That's the thing there.
Well, okay, so let's start with the most jarring change. Elves.
Yes.
So, at one point in time, the elves in the world were quite prominent. They were everywhere. But something happened after the Citadel came in. Something happened, and the elves actually left the main part of the world. The elves themselves set up some island nations. And I say islands, think more along the lines of small continent, Australia, something along those lines. They set up an island nation and moved all their holdings there. And then they did the other thing that is a little different. They decided to secure their nation to the extreme. So if you're coming in by sea, there is not only magical barriers, there is also monsters and natural barriers. If you're coming in by air, again, there are magical and monstrous barriers. And coming in by arcane means good luck. Just good luck. Now, you do see elves in the world still. I mean, what is a D&D world without elves? Come on, guys. There are elves in the world. But the elves in the world are either the older ones, the real old ones that decided to stay. And most of those are recluses. To be very honest, most of those are recluses, and they're few and far between. They hide where they are, they hide their nature. And that's that. Now, the other elves that are in the main part of the world, those are the younger generation. And the elves of the realm have a tradition. When a youngling has come of age, and then has decided, well, I know more than the elders, and I know more than the adults, and anyone who's parented a child knows the stage of I know more than you do, and you're not the boss of me, and I'm going to go out on my own, and I don't need this set of rules. And that's when the elves go, okay, fine. And gives them a ticket off island, gives them a way off island. There is, however, a catch. The catch is they can't come home until they can make their own way home. Until they can make their way past the barriers and the hazards that surround and guard their home. Unless, of course, it is a emergency. If there is something happening with the family, if there is an emergency, elders have been known to bring the younglings home. So there are not 3,000-year-old elves running around in the world. Most of the elves running around in the world are, at the most, 100, 150. They're not that old when you come to an elf.
You do, I would say, well, speaking for one elf, that's a little bit more than 50, but not by much.
Yeah.
Being Jandar from the on-off Tuesday game, a few elves like to have decided to stick around out of duty and stuff. Some of the more level-minded ones.
Right.
And that duty has usually kind of kept them, tied into where they've gone to and stuff. But yeah. Not very many old elves out there.
No. And usually after a couple hundred years in the main realms, they go, okay. And they find a way to get home. It's like, yeah, I've had enough. Goodbye. They find their way home. But that's the elves. Little is known about the Elven Nation. They are famously closed-mouthed about their nation. Now, there has been people that have gotten glimpses of their nation. One of which is a current adventuring party. But we'll cover that when we cover the first story arc. Because, yeah. So we've got elves taken care of. Humans, well, they're humans. They're everywhere. All shapes, all sizes.
Pretty solid. All set.
Yeah. That's enough said. All social classes, all alignments. You've got your good, you've got your bad, you've got your neutral. They're humans. They're everywhere. They do what humans do. They breed like crazy, destroy the land, and... Oh, wait a minute. Did I say that? Whoops. But they're humans.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
They're as diverse as anyone can be. Halflings. Now here's something we haven't touched on during game. We really just... Well, honestly, there's been no reason to touch on them during game. Think... Well, in some ways, think Hobbit, because that's originally what halflings are modeled after. But I'm not going to take on the Tolkien estate, and I'm going to dance around that. Think comfortable, fairly carefree folk. For the most part, they're kind of ignored by the taller races. But they play a pretty vital part. You can find them, like humans, in literally all walks of life, and literally various alignments, various professions. They're not as populous as the humans are. And for the most part, they keep to themselves in family units. And that's the halflings. I haven't, like I said, I haven't touched a whole lot on them. I really haven't played with the halflings, so to speak, yet. Gnomes.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, you broke up there. Let's see here. Oh, my latency's okay. There you are. You broke up.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. I it's all good.
Gnomes. Think Old World German. Stoic, hardworking, experts at fine detail work, clockmaking, jewelry, such like this. Absolute experts. We touched last week on dwarven technology. The dwarves run and build the bigger machines and set all the plans up. The gnomes are the ones that are doing the finer stuff. The gnomes are the ones that'll pull the wires. The gnomes are one that'll set up the arcane control boards and everything for the dwarves. They work pretty hand in hand. And at the moment, that's all I'm really going to say about the gnomes. I'm not going to say a whole lot about them. We will dive deeper into them later. And the dwarves, we touched base on the dwarves a little bit last week. Not a whole lot. Current dwarven society, think Cold War Soviet Union. They have locked themselves up in their mountain. And xenophonic. They are absolutely, they can't trust other races at the moment. Now this is not normal dwarven behavior in any way, shape, or form. Something has gone off with the dwarves. We will get into that a bit more when we talk about the campaigns. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, that's part of what's going on in the campaigns is what's happened with the dwarves. Other races, tieflings, Azamars, Warforged, Dragonborn. I'm actually going to skip over those for right now. Just because.
How about Goliaths? They've become a little bit popular now with the new edition of D&D.
You know, actually, I hadn't thought a whole lot about Goliaths. I really haven't. And I know orcs are becoming more and more popular as well. Both of those.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. Both of those I'm going to have to look at the greater world maps, look back through my written works, the stories that I've either woven just purely vocal or the lost written stories that I have hidden. You know, the ones I don't show anybody.
Sure. Well, sounds like we got a lot of potential for future there.
Yeah, there is potential there. Whether or not I'm going to go there, I don't know yet.
And by the way, we here believe that orcs is people too.
Yes, orcs are people.
So, yes.
I have a philosophy with my game and with my players and with people in general. I got this from my mom. And it's a person is a person is a person until they prove themselves otherwise. Basically, it comes down to you treat people like people until they prove themselves otherwise. Until they prove themselves that they're not a good person, that they are more than willing to do acts that are not kind, and then you treat them accordingly. And that's been a philosophy I've lived by for a very long time, and it has bit me more than once. But c'est la vie.
Well, it doesn't mean we won't have bad orcs out there causing mischief, mayhem, and pillaging and burning villages and stuff. But you know. Doesn't mean we don't have some good ones out there doing good things as well.
I think I might have a place for the orcs.
Okay. Sounds good.
Viking orcs.
In the Navy.
Oh, I can't unsee that. Oh.
We'll have to do the song, yes, with all the proper work voices and stuff at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Orcish Mariners. Actually,
Orcish Mariners, there we go.
Actually, that would fit. That really would fit.
Yeah. There we go. We're already doing some development on screen here.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
sometimes those mariners marinated when you bring out the rum.
Yep. Yep. Some of the strongest rum in the realms is Orcish rum.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, and that also explained our orcish friend we ran into in the campaign, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah.
Here, we
It
got an
would
interesting
explain
work
him.
guy out there in these swamps.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
That
There
very
we
much would
go.
explain him. Yep. Okay, we now have canon. Orcs are Vikings. Holy crap. Well, they're actually mariners. They're not Vikings. They're more,
Yeah.
not quite islanders, but yeah, they are more of a mariner type race.
Kind of more like the sea peoples or the like Phoenicians and stuff back in the
Phoenicians,
day, where
yeah, Phoenicians, Greeks, some
sailed
are,
around.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right in there, and that would again fit the personality of that particular orc. Very nice
Yeah.
guy, just
Fish goods all over the planet.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
One does not question where the goods come from, though. But they do ship the goods.
yeah, yeah. No, you don't ask where they got them. No, 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 you don't ask.
Yes.
Speaking of shipping goods, while we're on that subject,
Yes.
and unfortunately, this is going to cause a squirrel. There are airships in the
problem.
world, and one of the ways things are shipped is via airships. So, yeah, that is in the bigger cities of the southern kingdoms, they actually have ports dedicated to airships, where airships come in, unload their cargo. And there is rumor, pure rumor, of a couple of flying cities.
Hey, you never know.
But that is pure rumor, pure conjecture. There has been no supporting evidence of that at all. Oh, man, we are blowing through my list. We're not even a half hour in, and I'm all the way mostly through my list. This is not a good sign, my friend.
All right. Okay. That's the thing with when you're in development, you know, you have those bullet points. Sometimes you go shoot through them pretty quick, but sometimes, you know, that's takes a little bit to explain.
Right. Guilds. The economy. Pretty much the world economy and the world businesses are run via guilds. And guilds are run very similar. The closest analogy for our world would be unions.
Mm-hmm.
But unions with teeth.
There you go.
If you work with the guild, you work with the guild, they work with you. They can get you better rates, they can get you apprentices, they help you out. You work against the guild and you don't get your better rates. You have problems making things work because the guilds organize things, guilds run things. Yes, there are several ungilded operators because the guilds cost money to run and it costs money to be part of the guild. And there is a whole argument in the Southern Kingdoms about guilds, whether or not they're worth it. And there are quite a few places that don't run with guilds. But the major metropolises, the major trading centers, and the major cities all have guilds. And this is where the great antagonist of the world gets its power. It's commonly known as the Slavers Guild. Technically, they're a trading company. And they are a business with their fingers in a lot of different pies. They are, in whispered circles, are known as the Consortium. Because they run more than just Slavers Guild. And again, that's I can't delve too deep into that because that would entail spoilers for the last story arc. But that is some of the things that runs with the Southern Kingdoms, with the Second Kingdom gods. I'm having a lot of problems keeping things straight in my head tonight.
Hey, they could be called the Second Kingdoms because they were, second push out there to, re-explore the planet and get things going after the cataclysm.
Possibly.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have plowed through my checklist. I have absolutely plowed through my checklist. So,
well, how about we talk about inspirations for the Veil and for what we're working on here? I mean, we talked, you talked about about like Tolkien and a lot of other fantasy and stuff. I mean, what else was an inspiration for you here?
some fantasy movies, and then, in all honesty, I wanted to run the classic fantasy campaign of a handful of heroes, a group of heroes, out against absolutely impossible odds. And that's what I wanted to run. I wanted to run the classic good versus evil campaign. The classic, hey, let's weave this thing and let's run this classic campaign. And it's early years and the early renditions of this, it was silly. It was stupid. It really was.
Well, hey, you got to start somewhere.
Where it really started taking shape was when I started telling stories. And I started weaving stories in, and I needed a spot for stories. And that's where this started taking shape. Was then. I had some characters I was playing with, and I needed a spot to place these characters. So I started making up this veil, this world. And this veil where technology and magic meshed, but how the technology run, how we got it, and where it came from was lost. There were a handful of people that knew how to run it. So it's a medieval world. The city itself has flush toilets, has enclosed sewers, actual water lines, water pipes, water valves, showers. They use some magic to do refrigeration. There is piped gas for stoves. Hot water is available. It's a major metropolis with modern conveniences. It's a medieval metropolis with modern conveniences. And that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a spot for the heroes to come, sit back, relax, and not have to worry about, open sewers in the streets. Some of the traditional, oh my, this is what, medieval life was like. Because, I did my research. And then I just kind of worked from there. And a lot of it
go ahead.
Well, a lot of it just grew on its own. To be very honest, a lot of it just grew on its own. And that's... I'll hear a song and go, oh, hey, I can work that in. Or I'll watch some odd TV series. I can work bits and pieces of that in. Or I'll just be talking to other DMs.
Yeah.
DMs feed off each other, people. If you didn't know that, that's a spoiler.
We do.
We feed off each other. We really do.
Yeah.
I read a whole lot.
Well,
a lot of pulp-type fantasy fiction. A lot of Forgotten Realms type fiction. I read that. And that gave me ideas as well.
Yeah.
Ed Greenwood. If you ever are short ideas, go listen to just a interview with Ed Greenwood. He spews ideas like you wouldn't believe. If you're ever short on ideas, just listen to an interview with Ed Greenwood. Oh my god. That man is a treasure. But you were about to ask something.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to interject here too much there, but you're talking about wanting to have the medieval world, but not the typical medieval life tropes, especially the negative ones there. Which fascinating enough, I mean, with the internet and with more historians and more historical works, being accessible and more people looking into stuff and having actually more contact with other parts of the world and stuff, we're finding that a lot of the medieval tropes, that are out there are not entirely as much as we thought they were. I mean, towns and cities weren't necessarily stinking, and people had better, had clean habits and stuff, and they did work around a lot of problems and stuff. But there is truth to the tropes as well. So, especially when you get into later medieval stuff, when more cities, more crowded, more crowds, more issues like that, then you start seeing a lot more of what we would attribute to the medieval trope
Right.
there. But surprisingly so, a lot of what we think medieval life was like is not entirely the case, or not entirely the case all over the place, because there are many different degrees of how people lived their lives back then. And sometimes it was in the real world, it was back in working off of Roman technology and stuff to have a really well run, clean city, with access to libraries and open when it came to services and goods and stuff. And then you had places that were really
really dark.
worse than a lot of the tropes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Roman technology, unfortunately, was only for a select few. That was the other end of that. Roman.
Yeah. Or select few countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Byzantines actually, had a really good network of stuff. They were able to keep stuff going pretty well. But you look at somebody in the middle of middle Russia back in the time, it was kind of a different situation there.
It was.
Yeah. And actually, oddly enough, people came up with a lot of clever ways and means to handle daily life, and it was never the same across the board.
Very true.
Which is really interesting.
Yep. All right, let's get into the history lesson here. Let's get into first campaign. I want to get into first campaign here. First campaign, we started playing over 3 years ago, which blows my mind. We have a regular group of players that we've been playing together for, most of us, there's 4 of us total of the original group that's been playing for 3 years together. The rest of the group has filtered in as other people filtered out. But we started playing, and how I brought the group together, I did what's commonly now called a session 0, which is we did character generation, character creation, and then I give everybody kind of the top-down version. This is the world, this is the background, and I zoomed into the Vale, and I brought everybody into the Vale. I brought everybody into the Vale differently. Some people came through Southgate Pass. Some people came through long-forgotten tunnels. And other people were native of the Vale. I believe Grendel I brought through tunnels. I know I brought through tunnels.
And other means.
Do you want to go into Grendel's early history, or show...
I can go in a little bit about Grendel, but I'm sure at a later date we'll go into a more deep dive into Grendel's history. But Grendel is part of the Darkforge clan, which is always been the people that the Dwarven nation, the councils and the thanes and all the people who are in charge, or the lords, they look to the Darkforge clan to for more of the underhanded stuff, more of the quiet stuff, more of the things that go behind the scenes. So yeah, if you're talking about spies, spy masters, people who do dirty deeds, people who acquire things at the behest of officials in the government, and well, even kind of all the way up to ninja stuff there to a degree. That's the Darkforge clan. They are the people who work the shadows, work the dark, work the information networks, and occasionally do assassinations, dirty deeds, and stuff on at the behest of lords, the government, and other organizations within the dwarven society. But after several hundred years and a lot of other happenings going on with the dwarven nation, they've been relegated to helping to run the fifth column of dwarves who are fighting against the current regime of the dwarven nation. Now, things went really odd there, and even in Grendel's time, he saw how things got really tight, and as was already said earlier, more and more like Soviet Russia, or the worst parts of Soviet Russia.
So Grendel,
and with tightening down and stuff. Yes.
What was the dwarven nation like before? What was he missing? What was Grendel missing?
A lot more. It was a lot more open. It was a lot more connected with the world. It helped build things. It helped build after the but well, of course, in deep history, it helped build after the cataclysm. It also helped set up a lot of society and societal networks. Help pretty much they were really involved in trying to get any kind of civilization back up and running. Be it even with not just with their technology, but with everything from farming to basic knowledge and lore and stuff. That was the big thing about the dwarves is they not only had what we would call a modern mindset in it, but they also had a huge library of lore that could be drawn upon. And even in human kingdoms, dwarven lore masters and stuff were well sought after, because it was them who came up with ideas and helped out with, hey, this is how we do this, that, and the other to improve on society and stuff. So you don't have the bad medieval tropes, for example. But over the centuries, some things happen. A lot of cataclysms, a lot of accidents, a lot of happenings caused the dwarves to step back, and then, for some odd reason, they really became reclusive. Less and less and less over the decades, the dwarves left their main hold. In fact, it got to the point where a lot of the dwarf towns and cities were disconnected at some point or another. Biggest one was the Lost Clan. Part of the reason why it was lost is that what the main nation of the dwarves was doing was stepping back, and they lost contact with what became the Lost Clan. And this continued on more and more, and Grendel was born into already a dwarven society that had largely held themselves up in their mountains and underground, and in a few very guarded walled cities and such. And growing up, he remembered that there was more and more that visits to the walled cities and above started becoming less and less until all that was shut off, and then everybody was brought into the mountain, and more and more things changed, and things got more oppressive, and things got more odd, and very dark things started happening. And that's what pretty much caused any sane person within the dwarven nation finally say, we've had enough of this. But the nation at large is going on this path, and we can't openly go against it or incite a civil war. What we can do is try and go behind the scenes and try and get information and maybe combat some of these bad policies that are coming through, or stifle things until we get more of an idea of what's going on and what's causing this. So that's where Grendel eventually lied with his clan and his family at large. Is they were one of the key people to start up the fifth column, to work in secret, to not only find out what's going on with the Dwarven nation, but to look at ways that if it is some kind of major issue, and it's not just the whims of sentience going in a dark path, to actually mount an actual proper method of taking things over again. If there was an enemy going on there, to find the best way to stop them, and stop them without plunging the entirety of the nation into civil war. Although it has teetered on that on occasion.
So the columns were essentially a small groupings of dwarves that got together, realized something was horribly wrong with their nation, and they were doing submersive things to help the dwarven people keep going, to try to help keep traditions alive.
Yes.
And so how did Grendel end up in the Vale? What happened?
He was on an assignment where he was gathering information for the column, his column, and he ended up in what was a restricted area that was blocked off, and it turned out to be a area of dwarven wonder and technology that had a portal there that he accidentally opened up, and it transported him to an area within the Vale, where he emerged, and for the first time in many years, saw the outside world in sunlight. And he kind of wandered around till it got picked up and was transported to Stone Sentinels
Didn't he make
a long tail told short?
Yeah. Yes. You cut out a minor little bit of that. You cut out the first stop
I don't want to put too much out there, but good.
Yeah. Good. And after he found Stone Sentinels, he was given a couple contacts. Actually, on the way to Stone Sentinels, he was given a couple of contacts and was given a place where he could find a room and board. It's an establishment called Shadow's Haunt, which is an adventurer's tavern. The tavern itself is actually run by a retired adventurer. Imagine that. Now, his first night there, and he wasn't the only one, he had a series of nightmares, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. And with more to come, not to mention he had already been plagued with nightmares of many kinds.
Right. And I'll ping Stone Sentinels here on the map so people can see it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm also going to ping about where Grendel came out at, and about where he was picked up at, and we'll go from there. For those that are watching, yeah, those are actually a couple of those are actually important places.
Yeah.
Grendel wasn't the only one that had a series of dreams. Every member of the party had a series of nightmarish dreams of demons pouring out and into the city, demons attacking, fire, absolutely destruction. And The morning after, they were approached by members. Well, they were actually approached by the proprietor of the inn. And knowing they were adventurers, she had a contact, and they were needing an adventuring party to do some investigation. There was rumors of an orcish army, some sort of monstrous army, coming up from the northern reaches, beyond the Barrier Mountains, beyond these mountains up here. That's what they're called. They're called the Barrier Mountains. Wow. Or the North... No, they're called Northreach. There it is. They were Northreach. That was the name of them. See, I do remember things once I get talking. And they were coming down out of the mountains and causing havoc with the small settlements. And the party was hired to go up and investigate, see if it was a large force or just a group of raiders. And they presumed it was a group of raiders. Now, at the time, the party consisted of a human paladin, a fairy, I think it was a fairy bard, a human warrior, or were there two no, it was human warrior, human paladin, a fairy bard, an elvish druid, Grendel, Bixie, which is a gnomish rogue, and Indy, which was a human rogue. That was the party at the time. And they made their way north. As they made their way north, their first night, well, it wasn't the first night, it was a few nights in. They stayed at an inn. Do you remember that inn at all? I was reading
a little
notes.
bit, yeah.
I was reading notes and I remember that inn. But on the way to the inn, you guys come across a bridge. And the bridge was held by a group of orcs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, you guys made very short work of that group of orcs and goblins.
Yeah, they were not being. They were being very much the ruffians.
they were, and yeah, you guys made very short work. You ended up in the Open Bow Inn. Bow is in trees. Open Bow, there it is. Open Bow Inn. And this was actually a small village, literally built up into the trees.
Remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You guys spent the night, and during the night, a group of goblins had snuck in. And the paladin had caught them. Here comes my problem with the current paladins. I didn't remember this till I got scanning notes. The paladin dispatched two of them, captured a third, and started torturing him for information. Yes, a paladin torturing.
He was a interesting paladin.
He's a paladin of vengeance, so he could do things like that.
Yeah. I think he liked it a little too much.
I think so as well.
Grendel was not comfortable with him. Now, Grendel doesn't like goblins like the next dwarf, but he felt that the paladin was taking a little bit too far.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. But this is where you guys got your first inkling something big was happening. The goblin, once the goblin started talking, realized the only way out of it he was going to have to talk. This goblin started spilling all sorts of information. And one of the things he spilt to you guys was that there was some sort of arena up in the mountains where there was gladiatorial type combat happening. And I think he hinted the arena was an underground. It was. He did. He hinted it was an underground complex. And he also hinted that there was armies being recruited. And there was a large army coming down. But, who's to believe a goblin, right? It's a goblin. Who's to believe a goblin? Now, unfortunately, that paladin dispatched that goblin, which I kind of had issue with. Tortured him, got information out of him, and then killed him. As a player, I had problems. As a DM, it's like, okay, yeah, I kind of saw this coming. I actually had a couple other players come up to me behind the scenes going, oof, that was rough.
Yeah.
It was about this time, one of the goblins... You guys were led on a merry chase. And I can't remember the details behind this. Partially because... Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we had a few more goblins pop up, and we actually chased them out to see where they were going to go.
Right.
Maybe get some idea on things.
And
I think that was mostly Indy and Bixie who went out.
It was Indy, and I think it was the Warrior. And it was supposed to be just a couple people, and miscommunication happened. It ended up being the whole party going.
Yeah, and that I remember that. I remember that we were going to. That it was pretty much. We knew that the goblins were coming. We were going to find them and follow them, and send people to scout ahead just a little bit to get an idea on things. And we were going to kind of come back here where it was safe and try and do stuff. But yeah, there was miscommunication, and the entire party ended up going.
Right. And that's when you discovered a very large encampment in the woods.
That was an understatement.
Yeah. And it was large enough they had cut a clearing out. Encampment in the woods. And that's when the party went, we need to go back home. And in the process of going back home, you stumbled across the tower. This was a known wizard's tower. Now, somewhere in here, we lost the fairy and the warrior. Off-screen, there was a personality conflict between me and them. On-screen, they just kind of faded away. They went on their merry way, and nobody said anything.
Yeah. Well, I kind of assumed that they were going to go ahead to Stone Sentinels and talk with people we were working with. But that was unfortunately the last that we saw of them.
Right. Was that when we brought in Simber? Or did Simber come in a little later?
Simber came in a little bit later. Because we had Amphibious with Simber. We didn't get Amphibious till just a little bit later.
Yeah. Amphibious. Oh. I might have to dedicate a half an episode on him. Just...
Yeah, he's definitely the subject of a future episode.
Definitely. That one I might actually have to solicit questions from the players on, because I know you guys have questions. Oh, fizzy. Don't rewrite scenes just because of me. Yeah. Well, fizzy pop culture pipes up. So I was already planning a similar event with the bandits outside of Flandrin in the game Exiles. But now that I've watched this, I guess I'm going to be rewriting that scene. It's like, your choice, man.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. But nothing wrong with doing something similar. I mean,
we did this 3 years ago.
Give your own spin to it.
Yeah, we did this 3 years ago.
And I don't think it was recorded.
No.
So,
no.
Other than notes, so.
All I have is some very sketchy notes and memories. Our note taker absolutely, positively loved the fact we have a note taker. She takes notes for herself.
Yes.
So it is hitting the high points and hitting the high story points, and that's about it. So we're lucky to have the information we have. Otherwise, I'd be forgetting about half of this stuff, if not more. She's the reason that I have names. Because I'll spout off a name and she'll go, spell that, please. Crap. And yeah. So, yeah. And to any DMs out there, if you have a note taker in the party, oh my god. Cherish them, treasure them, bribe them.
Yes.
Because they are absolutely invaluable. If you're not taking notes, if you don't have a lot of notes on your campaign, grab the note taker's notes. Ask to borrow them. You get wonderful ideas off of them. It's phenomenal. But, yeah. Where was I? Oh. Let me glance, speaking of notes. Yeah. Yeah. My players have problems remembering to use inspiration. I'm just now really heavily offering inspiration. My party has fizzy pipes in. That's why I offer inspiration to players at recap. It's to encourage note-taking.
Yeah.
My players forget they have inspiration. It's kind of funny. They're starting to remember
No, I'm
now.
just holding it for the right moment.
Yeah. Well, it's the right moments are... Those moments are going to start really coming. You know this.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get a little bit of challenge coming up.
Yep.
So what happened after we reported in about the army? Because it was Indian them who actually saw it and actually saw the mass plethora of combatants that were coming down. What happened when we actually reported to it and looked to come back to see if we can get more information?
Well, I'm sitting here scanning.
Because as I recall, something we did that, and something interesting happened when we returned.
Well, this is why I'm scanning notes. Very much, Odin. Inspire them to take notes, yes. So, what happened was that you guys were actually caught spying on the camp and you were chased. You lost them, but you realized that they knew where the village was, where the Open Bow Inn was. So you went back and helped fortify the Open Bow Inn. And that's where a lot of the supplies...
You did that, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm skimming notes here because it went.
Yeah, we did. Well, the people who did they were coming back to the town. Well, I remember that. That was now that you mention it.
You actually meet a person by the name of Silverleaf. Who later you find out has a daughter, but that's much later, and you haven't quite figured that out yet. You haven't figured... People haven't put everything together yet, but that's kind of a spoiler thing.
Yes. There is a suspicion out there, but...
Yeah.
It has not been put together.
So, you meet up with him, he gives you fresh horses, more information... And you continue heading north. I should have read more of this. I really should have. Ah, okay. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Uh-huh.
So the village is actually besieged by this army.
Or part of it.
Yeah, by part of it. And the party goes into the inn, and they find a portal in the inn. Looks like it was elven made.
Mm-hmm.
And you port most of the village out the portal. And I'm sorry, Wow. Yeah. So before we go much further on this, I'm actually going to have to read these notes in detail.
Yeah, I think we got a good start on things here. But yeah, let's read in more detail till what happened after we got we saved the villagers by porting them out here.
Right. And I'm going to have to go back.
We can start there next time.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and reread notes.
Yeah.
Because it is...
Yeah, what I was thinking is... Yeah, because what I was thinking about what happened was what happened after we had got out and completed all this and had reported the army and went back. But that's also something we'll talk about next time, I'm sure, because that'll be in the notes.
It's in the notes. You guys also meet Chance, and she was with you for a very short period. She was a cleric. She was a tiefling cleric.
Yes, I remember her, yes.
Yeah, she was with you for a very short period of time. And it was right in that time period you guys also picked up Vasto.
Mm-hmm.
And our elven druid left the party. And not too long after that, our paladin left the party right in that general time frame. But I remember when that happened. That happened after we yeeted the gnome. And that's where the rule...
We'll talk about the gnome yeeting.
Yes.
All of that next time. Sure. There's a lot more to the tale, and I think that does deserve a good chunk of time to go into more detail and discussion.
Yeah, yeeting the gnome is a whole...
Yeah, the infamous yeeting the gnome, yes.
Yeah, there's actually a rule in the party now. Don't yeet the gnome.
Yes.
Gnome yeeting is a no-no. Or is that a no-gnome?
If you get out and pick up the dwarf, you might be able to toss him, but you don't yeet the gnome.
Do you really want to toss a dwarf?
Like I said, if you can pick him up.
Yeah.
Grendel, one thing about Grendel that I have not mentioned and I don't think it's come across is that for a dwarf, he is tall and lanky and thin.
He is. I do remember that.
But that's corded, heavy duty, all that's muscle.
All that's
He's still
muscle.
very muscular like a dwarf, but yeah. So, yeah, and he's also very, he's got a lot of dexterity to him. So, he's a difficult guy to even touch if you get close to him. And that dexterity is going to become rather an interesting aspect to him as he develops. We got some plans for Grendel.
We do. Well, we've got plans for all the main characters.
Yes.
Yes.
As Grendel finds out new dwarven weaponry to play with.
Yes.
But we'll leave it at that.
Well, you see, that starts in what's coming up as well, when you guys find the Arcane Tower.
Yes.
The Arcane Tower...
That starts the path.
That is what really starts the path. Matter of fact, I think we can just skip to the Arcane Tower.
Yeah.
Because that's where...
We'll go to the Arcane Tower next time for sure.
Yeah, well, we've got an hour. We can pick back up the Arcane Tower. Because anything in between there, really... The Arcane Tower is really when the campaign started to take off.
Yes.
In true D&D gamer fashion, we had a couple of false starts with the game. We had some players that didn't mesh with us. We switched from... I'm going to go ahead and say it. Well, hello, Miss Bell. For those that don't know,
Hello.
Miss Bell is part of Fantasy Grounds, and she's poking her nose in.
Welcome. Good to have you here.
This is Chronicles, where I'm going over the history of the campaign because we play Dwarven Forge on Sundays, every other Sunday, and we've dropped everybody in the middle of the story. And I talked with the players and some people that are watching, and they're like, we're a little lost. What went on before? So I decided to do what we lovingly call Chronicles, and we're going over the history of the campaign to give people context. Because, hey, why not? And we use Fantasy Grounds to show the maps and the pictures. But it is wonderful to see you dropping in on stream. But the Arcane Tower is where the campaign actually really started. And the party had come up to this tower. They'd seen smoke in the distance. And they come up to this tower. And they really wasn't sure what was going on. They heard rumors that it was an outpost of some sort. Information outpost. And it was people friendly to Stone Sentinels. And they come up, and the tower, there's actually smoke coming from the tower. And as they approach it, they're fired upon from the tower. Well, to get in, instead of charging the door, the paladin decides to toss the gnome up to the tower roof. And that is where the gnome met the leader of the incursion force at the tower.
Yes, which was part of the big force from the north.
Yep.
And they were taking over the tower.
The party went through and found absolute atrocities in the tower. The tower was essentially an arcane outpost. It was, think of a fire overlook, fire tower outpost for forest, but this is a border outpost. So really they were students and a couple of scholars investigating the area, learning about the area, and they were ambushed. They were ambushed, and unfortunately they were slaughtered. And the party comes across this. They go through and they clear the tower. At some loss to the party, there are our gnomish rogue actually lost her life there. We had to bring her back. That is when Chance, our tiefling cleric, came in really handy and really clutch in that battle. And it was in that tower, after that was all said and done, this is where the party really starts going. The ground floor, they find a trapdoor. And it's a hidden trapdoor. They go down there and they find a dwarven workshop. And this is an old dwarven workshop full of an artificer's dream. It had equipment to build rifles, had equipment to build trinkets. It had equipment to build artificial limbs. But the big thing it had on it was carved in the floor was this arcane ring that the more they looked at it, it was a portal. They had actually found a working portal. And this was the first hint something much bigger was going on. Guys, is this where you guys... I'm trying to remember, this is where you guys accidentally went to the elves. Was it here, or was it little... No, it was later on in the campaign.
Yeah.
But they found the portal.
But I believe it was here that... Yeah, but I believe it was here that Amphibious and Simber found us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was here... You guys used the portal to go back to Stone Sentinels. There it is. And in Stone Sentinels, this is where Amphibious and Simber. Simber is a Fire Ganassi warrior. Amphibious is our cleric. He is an NPC. And I will go into Amphibious much later, but personality-wise, take a halfling and take all the jovial, happy things that halflings are and throw it out the window, because that's not Amphibious. Picture House. Picture Mr. Gregory House. Sarcastic, grumpy, curmudgeon grump of a cleric who has warmed up to this Fire Ganassi warrior for some odd reason. And the two of them have joined the party. And it's at this time our wizard has joined the party as well. That is Vasto. And the paladin has left the party. His goddess and his kingdom had recalled him home. And that right there has formed our core group. For the most part. We pick up one other player a little later on. That was after the end of the first arc is where we pick up our final player. But that's how the party, that's where the party stands. So at this point in the game, we've got Amphibious, which is our healer. We've got Vasta, which is our wizard. We've got Indy at the time. He's still rogue, just plain rogue. Bixie's still rogue. We've got you, and you've moved to Artificer by this time.
Yeah.
And this is also right about the time period we lose a druid. And that's why Amphibious comes in. And that's why Chance came in. Chance came in for a couple of sessions, and then real life interfered, and she couldn't play anymore. So, and we left.
Which was a bummer because she was a good mix.
Oh yeah, she added well to the mix, and it was, but understandable. That's the Arcane Tower, and I'm gonna have to look over the notes for the Arcane Tower and get into a bit more detail what happened there.
Yes. There's always a chance we might return to the Arcane Tower because there's still stuff there that
there is still stuff there. You guys actually sealed the last time you were at the Arcane Tower. You guys actually sealed it back up, sealed the downstairs back up, and secured it.
Yeah.
But the Arcane Tower is where I set the tone for the rest of the campaign. Yeah, Woden, I need to do the same. I need to work on my maps as well. I actually have. Let's see here. Hang on. Speaking of maps, hang on. I think I still have, which I do. All right. Thank you, Fantasy Grounds Unity, because I still have the Arcane Tower maps. This was one of my first attempts at map making within Fantasy Grounds. So please forgive the the crudeness of this. And this was me going a little ham on the map making. So here is the main floor. Have you ever seen these without all the lighting, Ford? You know, without just the...
yeah.
Okay.
You did show it to me once.
So this is the first floor. Okay, that works, Odin. I greatly appreciate that. Did you see my post in Discord about the city and what we're looking at? Or wait, no, you can't see that one. I got to get with you on that. This is the living quarters of the tower. And this is where the party found most of the residents of the tower, right here. And yeah, it's very graphic. They were actually slaughtered in their sleep. And this is the roof of the tower. This is where we lost our rogue, where she died and we had to bring her back to life. But yeah, this is my first attempt at playing with maps in Fantasy Grounds. This is me going, ooh, Fantasy Grounds. Oh, look, I can make maps and I can do all sorts of... Yeah. So this was me learning. And this is the basement. This is the infamous basement. 4 workshop cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the arcane circle. This is where the portal circle was at in the basement.
Yeah.
And the entrance to that is actually underneath this table. For folks that couldn't remember. That's where the entrance to that is. They actually had to move the table, move the rug, and that's where they found it. So yeah, that is the arcane tower. Where I got the design from that is actually off of a model I built. But yeah, that was my first attempt at map making in Fantasy Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was too bad. It was just rough moving tokens from one level of a map to the next. And yeah, I know I'm bouncing it around pretty hard. Sorry, folks. Now, my second attempt at map making in Fantasy Grounds. Some people have heard me reference this more than once.
Mm-hmm.
The arena. The infamous arena. And yes, there are actually 2 versions of this map, believe it or not. This map took me forever to build.
Yeah, we'll go more into detail on the arena in a future talk here. But
yeah.
Just give you an idea what we're talking about.
But for folks that are building maps in Fantasy Grounds and going, oh yeah, you can build maps, don't build too big. Do not build too big.
Yeah. It was a learning experience for all of us.
It really was, and I'm now looking at this map and cringing. The background is too busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it makes me want to rebuild the map. It really does.
Well, and the nice thing is you can rebuild it better piecemeal there.
Uh-huh.
And have a little bit more details and stuff thrown in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is all the... Yeah, there are places you guys didn't find here.
No, not
well,
initially.
Actually, no, you did find
yeah.
them all because you finished. Yeah, but...
Well, essentially, what we did not initially find, we found later because...
yeah.
Because, with support from Stone Sentinels, we retook and started rebuilding the area.
Right. But we'll get into that probably in the next couple episodes. We'll get into the arena.
Sure. Absolutely. And talk about the arena and what it was before and what it is now.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I have homework to do. Is there anything anyone wants me to talk about while I know I have homework to do and we have a little time? We'll check with chat first, and then I'll check with you, Ford, because you know I can ramble.
Okay. Oh, we can both ramble. That's
yeah.
the nice thing there.
That's a scary part too.
Yeah. When we start making sense and stuff with our rambling, that's when it gets very scary.
Yes. And I know I have at least one of the players in chat. Is there anything even my players want to know? The worst I can tell you is, sorry, I can't tell you that because that's spoilerish. But you can try.
Well, as a player, I'm pretty good with stuff, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Either that, or I'm sworn to secrecy on certain things that have been
you are sworn to secrecy on quite a few things, actually.
Yeah. Even to things that haven't even been entirely developed or conceived yet. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you are You were sworn to secrecy on... Well, this is what happens.
Yeah.
So DMs, if you can get your players do some of the work for you, do so.
That's a good technique. In fact, actually, that could be something we could briefly discuss. Is one of the most successful things for me as a DM is actually bringing in my players and their ideas with things, because it not only keeps me from having to spend a lot of extra time trying to come up with stuff. They come up with stuff, and having them put in input has been very enriching in all my games and environments and stuff. And even though they may know what's going on because they're coming up with some of that stuff there, they don't know everything. So I was throwing a twist to things.
Yeah.
Or a complication.
I reward my players. Okay, we're going to touch base on Simber real quick. Simber is a fire ganassi.
Sure.
She actually got a magic item, which was a needle that gives a enchanted tattoo. And they had the tattoo done. But they also give me a background on the tattoo artist and what the tattoo did. We picked up the tattoo out of a book. But they wrote up a background on the tattoo artist and stats on the tattoo artist. That NPC is actually a persona in the realm. It's in Stone Sentinels. And the player wrote it all up for me. You've contributed quite a bit. Bixie's contributed. Indy's contributed. Vasto's contributed. Yeah. Yeah, this is... If what I like to do is the player goes, ooh, what about this area? Ooh, what is this like? I'll give them a rough outline and go flesh it out. If you want to know more, go flesh it out, bring it back to me. And
me and Bixie are going to continue to be fleshing out the Dwarven Nation for sure, and the gnome enclaves and all that for a while, for sure.
Yeah, and Simber's actually working on some of the Elvish stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting your players to help you, realizing that as a DM you don't have to shoulder everything, is beautiful. It really is. It makes life a little easier. I don't have some of the skill sets I need to do some of this stuff. Yes, I can tell stories. I'm a horrible writer. I'm absolutely... My written stuff is, in my opinion, trash. And other people's opinion is another story altogether. I have a hard time writing things down. I really have a hard time writing things down. Oh. Well, I got no input from the audience. I think, as much as I hate to do this, I actually think we're going to end a little early tonight.
No problem. No problem.
Primarily because I thought I had my ducks in a row and I didn't.
Well, that's ducks for you. They kind of jump up and scamper around and go all over the place. And you bring them back in a row and they stay there for a while. Then they decide to do whatever ducks do,
Yeah. Definitely.
We had a good start on things, I think.
Yeah, we did. So I'm going to make a couple shameless plugs here. I will be back Friday afternoon, 1:30 to 3:30 for Game Prep Friday, where I prep for games and talk with folks, or not prep for games and talk with folk. I use that as my game prep because I do run more than one game, and I'm planning yet other games, and it makes me sit down and actually do game prep. So I will be back Friday from 1:30 to 3:30. This Sunday, I am playing in Exiles over on Fizzy Pop Culture. I'm playing there Sunday afternoon, so if you wander over there, you can actually see me play a character. Be afraid, be very afraid. Off screen, I am... So, Grendel, here's a thought.
Yeah.
Off screen, Thursday, I get to play a high-level bard.
Ah.
I am getting to play a high-level, half-elven bard.
Cool.
In Woden's game. They've invited me in to play a few sessions, so I get to play a high-level bard.
He sounds good.
And then, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we're going to come back to Dwarven Forge. We will be back here next Wednesday for more Chronicles, and I promise I will be more organized. That's next Wednesday.
Excuse me. Came out of left field.
For virtual tabletop needs, Fantasy Grounds Unity. There is a link in my about section. Please go give them a look. Background music. Oh, thank you. I was just told the party loves the Bard. They don't know him very well yet. This is... I'm basing him off the second edition of Bard I played years ago. Back when I played second edition. Back when second edition was new. And one of the infamous things, it was... I'm sorry, good sir, I didn't realize that was your wife. I thought it was your daughter. As he skipped away on rooftop to rooftop, running away from the local guard. He's quite the interesting person. He really is. He is quite the scoundrel. Indeed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what part isn't a scoundrel to one degree?
Yeah. Well, he's a bit much sometimes, but he's so much fun to play.
Oh, well, good.
He is just so much fun to play. But virtual tabletop, Fantasy Grounds, please, folks, give it a look. It is amazing. Music you've heard is done by Tabletop Audio. Again, absolutely amazing. Banners, icons, character portraits have been done by Vector Moon Graphics. Give her a look. There is a link in my About section. Give her a look, please. And from here, let's see who we can raid, shall we? Let's see who's on and about.
Let's see.
Oh, we have music. Nah, she's DJing. Okay. What do we have here? This would be right up your alley, my friend. Someone's playing Silent Hill.
Okay.
First time playing Silent Hill.
Oh, Silent Hill is always fun.
Or we have somebody painting miniatures.
We do.
I think
we also have a.
Go ahead.
We also got several other game people that I know we could probably trade into, but it's up to you. I mean, we've got a lot of potentials here.
We do. I just found a group that's playing Flander and Below. They are episode number 29. They just started Nerd Dimension. So let's go ahead.
Hey, that sounds good. Let's give them a raid there.
Yeah, let's give them a raid. So we're going to drop in on them.
Okay.
He's like the bravado and the persona drops. He just goes, no, as he just looks to everybody.